I love it. When there's throw up on my shirt, I'll go to work with a badge of honor. I love it. I want to be a dad. I love it. I'm excited about every aspect, good or bad. Kids don't learn by what you tell them. They learn by what you show them. And so if they see that you work hard, they will work hard. If they see that you don't talk nicely to people, they won't talk nicely to people. My dad always insisted that the most important thing to preserve in me or in any child is their self-determinism. What does that mean? What they determine to do, what they govern themselves to do, that is sacred. It's holy. It must be preserved. Their self-determinism. Let them govern. A fake reality is a piece of information that you're 100% sure is right, but when you use it, it doesn't bring you the expected results. So any area of your life that you're operating in that doesn't have the expected results in any way, there's no excuse other than there's a fake reality you're operating off of. If I treated some of your listeners, if I treated some of their kids the way they treat their kids, they would kill me.
Gal, every dad has that story that just lights them up about being a dad. What is your favorite dad story?
So my favorite dad story, I'd say, was actually an interaction I had with somebody at the gym. And I was early on in fatherhood. And there was a guy and he said to me, so, wow, I heard you're a dad. I ran into a friend there, right? So he knew I was a dad and you're a new dad. And, how's it going? And I was like, man, I love every second of it. And he said, nah, but Gal, come on, man. The late nights? I was like, I love it. He said, okay, what about in the middle of the night, 1 a.m., and you have to go and change a diaper, and then in the morning you change, and then there's poop on your shirt or throw up. And I was like, no, I love it. When there's throw up on my shirt, I'll go to work with a badge of honor. I love it. I want to be a dad. I love it. And he looked at me like, you love that part too? And I said, yeah, I love every element of it because it's what I signed up for. It's what I wanted. I'm excited about every aspect, good or bad. I explained to him, this is how I think about life in general. If I need to do it and that will get the result, I love it. And I genuinely loved every second. So that moment where he was like, whoa, it's a different perspective. Instead of complaining about it, I can love every element of it. Wow. And that's really a really special dad moment when I got to share that point of view with somebody else, and I could see that they had a shift in their perspective.
Gents, I sleep on a MyPillow. I sleep on MyPillow Giza sheets and MyPillow body pillows. I have MyPillow towels. My wife wears MyPillow slippers. We have MyPillow merchandise throughout our entire house because it is such great quality products that I love every single one of them. And I would never recommend a company to you that I don't use. We're proud to have Mike Lindell and MyPillow as sponsors for this show. You can go to mypillow.com and use code TFM, super complicated, that's our parent company, The Fallible Man, code TFM for up to 80% off your order and free shipping on orders over $75 for our listeners. You get to support a great American company that is employee owned, and you get to help us keep making shows just like this one that you're listening to right now, as well as you get great products that you can trust and that are amazing in your home. So go to mypillow.com, use code TFM to get discounts on over 200 products. Guys, it's a win-win-win for all of us. Let's get back to the show. Welcome to the Dad Hat Shenanigans Podcast, the unfiltered truth about being a dad. Real dads, real stories, unfiltered, candid conversations on fatherhood. I'm your host, Brent Allen, and today my guest is Gal Ezra. Gal, welcome to the Dad Hat Shenanigans Podcast.
Thank you. It's so good to be on. I appreciate you having me.
Now, right off the bat, this is the Dad Hat Shenanigans Podcast, and the Dad Hat is part of what we're doing, and I'm looking at your hat that just says, so what is the story behind the...
Yeah, so this was actually a gift from one of my best friends. He's a singer. His name is Oshri. And he sang at my wedding, and he was one of my groomsmen, and like we're really, really close. And this was a gift from him that I got, this year, when I became a dad. And so it has a lot of meaning for me because it was like it's the only like actual dad hat that I have. And it was so funny because when I saw that your show is around, you got to wear a dad hat, I was like, I know exactly the one. This is the one. So that's got a lot of meaning for me.
Awesome. Now you said you're a new dad, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
I've had a bunch of dads on the show. We haven't had like a brand spanking new dad on here. So I'm really excited to talk about some of your perspectives today. So you have the one, so you have a boy or a girl?
Girl, 8 months old. Yeah, I can definitely give you the current, fresh perspective. I imagine that when I'm, let's say, 5 or 6 years into having kids, I want to remember some of the perspectives that are fresh in my mind right now on pregnancy and on having a newborn and, going through these first few months. So yeah, it is interesting actually to be able to speak about it now and to have this recorded on this podcast forever, because I'll probably look back at this one day and show her. So yeah.
I was going to say, now it's documented. When you get a couple of years into it, you can look back at yourself and be like, huh.
Yeah. Exactly. For the better or for the worse. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's one of those things. No matter how ready you are for kids, I grew up working with kids. My wife and I grew up working with kids. We were very active in our churches, so we grew up, going through like Bible school, but also like teaching nursery and taking care of the babies. My wife, my oldest daughter, actually help in the nursery at our church now. And so we've been around kids our whole lives. I spent 20 years working in youth ministry.
Wow.
When I became a dad, there were several moments I was like, I thought I had the plan, but
yeah. Yeah. How old are your kids?
My daughters are 13 and 11.
Wow. Can't imagine my 8-month-old at that age. You know what I mean? But I'm sure everybody tells me it happens so fast. I can already tell it's flying by.
Oh yeah. I look at my daughters and go, wait, they fit right here. It was just the other day, I'm pretty sure. Right.
Wow. Yeah. It's wild. Really amazing. Yeah. I'll tell you a bit about my perspective on it. So I'm an entrepreneur. I've been, basically working and running my own businesses for probably about 14 years now. And I started out doing actually festivals. I was in the music festival industry. So I ran, organized, operated music festivals based out of Cape Town, South Africa. I was born in Cape Town, South Africa. And I also lived in the US for a few years, but most of my life has been in Cape Town. So I was doing festivals, and then I started a finance business, and I do many different entrepreneurship directions, all the long term. I'm not like one of those fly-by-nighters. So I've had the festival business for over 10 years, the festival business, the finance business for 7, and a few others. And I always had this thing in mind, even when I was starting young, that everything I'm building is for my future family. It was really clear. Like it was as a 22-year-old, 23-year-old, and I'm starting to make a little bit of money. And I was like, yeah, this is the foundation for a family in the future. Like that was always my idea. I always wanted to have kids. I was looking forward to it. And it was never a rush at the same time. Like I kind of knew it would be like everything in the right time. And my wife and I started dating about 10 years ago. The way we met is wild. It's a whole long distance thing. And we met 10 years ago and got married 5 years ago. And we had a really great time, just us. And we were then, okay, let's have kids. Like we're ready. And so then relatively quickly when we decided, she fell pregnant and we have our beautiful daughter. And so that journey was always kind of a clear path for me. I was always excited about being a dad. I knew it would be the most amazing thing. Like it was just totally there for me. But every expectation, all the prep, in reality, it's been beyond words better than what I could have expected. And it's just more than anything I could have ever hoped for. And I was hoping for a lot. And really, I think that part of that is that I've learned a lot beforehand on personal development, on children, on relationships, on different things, a lot, and I implemented it right away. And in the same breath, I think it had to do with, everything happened correctly, like at the right time for us. And so it was, it wasn't a rush thing. I can understand the pressure. Maybe if somebody falls pregnant accidentally or a bit early, that does change the dynamic around. So I think that was for us really successful to kind of control that process to yield a really good result.
Let me ask you the long distance thing. I want to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was living in Cape Town, South Africa. My father, who you'll probably interview at some point, and him and I are extraordinarily close. And we also work together on some things. So he was at the time in the US with my mom and my family. My whole family was in the US. I'm in Cape Town. We're talking about 13 years ago. Okay. Now my dad is an absolute genius, one of the most incredible people anybody's lucky enough to talk to. You'll see why. And he was there doing seminars, doing a variety of different business seminars. Been doing it for years. He's also extremely successful. And basically what would become my girlfriend and wife, she was going to his seminars, her and her dad, because she started a business in high school. And she's in the US, 16 years old, going to these seminars. I'm in Cape Town, 17 years old. She's there. 18 years old. She's there. At 19, she says, I want to travel the world. And my dad says, oh, I have a son in Cape Town. You should go to Cape Town. It's amazing. I have a son. You'll love him. You guys should really meet. And so her and I start to talk, to kind of coordinate her potentially actually coming, because our dads knew each other, but we had never met in person. And long story short, her and her best friend flew to Cape Town. It was like this summer love. And then she went back. And it was like, hey, I don't know, I'm living in Cape Town. It's the bottom tip of Africa, and you're in the US. And long story short, 6 weeks later, she returned to Cape Town. And then we said, okay, let's see how this goes. And for about 5 years, we were doing this. I mean, we still kind of do it, but we were doing this back and forth, Cape Town, US, and we never went more than a month apart, which is crazy. Never more than a month apart. True long distance. That's about as long distance as it gets. Some people live like 3 hours away from each other, and they like 3-hour drive away, and they call it a long distance relationship. We were like a 36-hour flight away from each other. And that's what we did. That was how we did this entire relationship. It was like it ended up being the best thing ever. But that was an adventure.
I had to ask, is I thought my wife and I did long distance. We were across the U.S. from each other our entire relationship.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Until I moved up to Washington State to marry her. Like our entire, from friendship to we're getting engaged up until I moved up here 2 months before we got married, we were on opposite sides of the country. So I thought we were going, but wow, U.S. to Cape Town.
It is further, but I will say yours that's also far. That's also very far. Wow.
I'm just always interested because it's very seldom you see that these days, right? Mm-hmm. You don't see a lot of people doing long distance relationships. Like you said, they're like, oh, we're 2 hours apart. I dated a girl that I used to drive 3.5 hours every weekend to go stay in the town where she lived. For my wife. And, I didn't think that was too bad. I was like, I get to see her every weekend. I don't see her during the week, but I see her every weekend. That's not a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Exactly. Yeah, it's not as common. It can be tough. There's challenges to it. That's why we try to never go more than 4 weeks apart. We found that actually the first week apart, you kind of miss each other a little bit, which is nice. Or actually, no, how it goes, we found the first week, you're actually thrilled to be solo. You're kind of like, okay, I'm solo. I don't need to coordinate dinner. I don't need to how it goes. Like, what do you want for dinner? What do you want for dinner? You're just independent. You're on your own for the first week and you're like having fun with it. Week 2, you're like, okay, I miss you. Like, you can come back now. week 3, it's like, wow, this is really like, it's tough. I feel like I have so much to catch you up on. Like, we haven't been together. And around week 4, the little bickering starts on silly things. It's like you start going crazy. So we were like, okay, let's try to make it not more than 4 weeks apart. And that's what we somehow managed to achieve, which is amazing.
That is amazing. We had long distance phone calls. I spent most of my paycheck on long, because it was pre cell phone. Like, we got married. Wow. We've been married for 24 years now.
Wow, that's an amazing achievement. Wow.
Thank you. But our relationship was built when you were still having to pay long distance bills on like phones and
so you see that. I mean, you had some real challenges. I mean, what we have it easy: FaceTime, voice notes. It's easy to send updates of like photos or videos of what you're doing. Like, we have it easy compared to that.
I don't know about easy, but it's just always interesting to me because I, in my opinion, I think long distance relationships, or at least relationships that start out that way, actually stand the test of time a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to communicate more. You have to talk more.
Yeah,
there's less fluff conversation because there's only so much like, how's the weather going kind of crap you can throw when all you can do is talk.
Yeah. Exactly. And you have to care more about the other person. That was also an interesting lesson with how I built the relationship with her is, to be honest, with previous relationships, which were far too quick-lived to mention, there was nothing was built. Her and I talked for like 5 months before ever meeting one another because she was planning this trip to come visit Cape Town and so forth. So we were talking and we built up this real connection before we ever actually met, even physically, even in person, for a handshake, a hug, nothing. So that was foundational for a real relationship. These days, things move so quickly in the dating world. I mean, I vicariously live through my friends and their stories, and it's like it's quick. Everything's quick, not only from the element of the fact that you see their entire life in 2.5 seconds from just looking at their Instagram, but obviously dating apps and so forth make things super quick. So you don't have that buildup of like a courtship and like everything that it takes to actually build a foundation. And that was really key as well.
It always fascinates me because it's rare when I meet someone else who came up that way. Let me ask you, you said you're really close with your dad, so that's always a great foundation. Yeah. What was the best advice you were given about becoming a dad before the child was born?
So the advice, a couple things actually to answer that. First of all, my dad always said, and I could see it to be thoroughly true in how he raised me, is that kids don't learn by what you tell them. They learn by what you show them. And so if they see that you work hard, they will work hard. If they see that you don't talk nicely to people, they won't talk nicely to people. And so my dad always set such a good example himself as a dad. And that made a massive difference on how I was raised. So that's the first thing. And so I knew that. In other words, set a good example from day 0. Second of all, lots and lots and lots of love. Okay. My dad really gave lots and lots and lots and lots of love. Same with my mom, of course, which I think was foundational because when you have a real basis of love, you are much more open to the occasional feedback or guidance, right? Because there's that real love there and a safe space. So you know that if anything goes wrong, you know who to go to. Or if you need guidance, you know who to go to. And the third thing is my dad always insisted that the most important thing to preserve in me or in any child is their self-determinism. What does that mean? What they determine to do, what they govern themselves to do, that is sacred. It's holy. It must be preserved. Their self-determinism. Let them govern themselves. Let them lead. Don't squash that out. And that was really, really, really key. I mean, among other things, of course, my dad's delivered a parent and family academy. It's been delivered to over 1 million people. It's an entire relationship academy for parents, for children, for spouses. So I was very lucky to learn a lot from him.
Awesome. So you had a great foundation.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you've got some great dad jokes at this point.
Oh, for sure. Of course. I mean, I don't know if I have any off the top of my head, but they come all the time. You know, it's my wife, my friends, they just, they know I'll spit out terrible, painful dad jokes when they come to me.
Okay. Well, you got to throw in one at least during the course of the show today, because that's a prerequisite.
Okay.
You got to have a bad dad.
I love that. Okay, good. I'll think of one.
See, you know why I really do this? Because I'm not actually funny. So I get great dad jokes from you guys, and then I go try them on my daughters who are homeschooling 2 rooms over.
Yeah.
And I find out if it's a good joke or not. I'm like, I heard this joke in my interview, and they're like, Dad. I was like, yes, it was a good one. Right.
Yeah, that's great. I'll give you a slightly more mature, let's call it a more mature joke. Okay. It's not exactly as a punny of a joke, but it's a classic joke. And it goes like this. So there's a teacher, right? And she's speaking to a class, and she says, all right, kids, there's 3 birds on a line. One of them gets shot. How many are left? So little Johnny says, me pick me. So she says, okay, Johnny. And he says, none are left. And she says, no, there were 3 birds. 1 got shot. So there's 2 left. And he said, no, teacher, there were 3 birds. 1 got shot. The other 2 heard the noise and flew away. So there's none left. So she said, okay, it's not what I meant, but I like the way you think. So the class, comes to an end, and Johnny stays behind, and he goes to the teacher and he says, teacher, can I ask you a question? And she says, yes. He says, there's 3 women holding an ice cream. One of them is licking an ice cream. One of them is biting an ice cream. And one of them is sucking an ice cream. Which one is married? So the teacher blushes, and oh my God. And she doesn't know what to say, and she thinks, and she says, the one that's licking the ice cream. So he said, no, teacher, the one with the ring, but I like the way you think.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm not telling my 13-year-old that one yet.
No, that's not for your 13-year-old. That's for your audience. That's for the other dads out there to tell their dad friends.
Now that we set up today's topic really well, Gal, where do you want to go from here? What do you want to talk about today?
Yeah, so I want to talk about a few things that I think can add value. And for those that stay to the end, I'm actually planning on gifting all your listeners the first 5 lessons out of the Family Academy. So we have Family Academy is a massive, about 100 hours, probably 2 hours each, all about handling every problem in families and relationships, from kids with too much screen time to rebellious teenagers to parents fighting to relationships that get poisoned by other people that come in and poison relationships, everything that goes wrong with raising children and running healthy relationships. And the very interesting thing about the Family Academy, as I told you, has been delivered to over 1 million people with incredible results. We have, 10,000 success stories, literally. And what I basically want to do is gift them the first 5 lessons, which is usually $349, totally for free. So at the end, I'll give you the code, and I'll send you the link after, so you can send that to everyone. And the basic thing that I want to talk about, and the foundational piece of truth here, is the child. What is a child? What is the definition of a child? Because most people, when they have a problem, and they don't get good results, they are operating off of something which is called a fake reality. A fake reality is a piece of information that you're 100% sure is right, but when you use it, it doesn't bring you the expected results. So any area of your life that you're operating in that doesn't have the expected results in any way, there's no excuse other than there's a fake reality you're operating off of. If the business is not making enough money, you don't have the expected results, you have fake realities, a piece of information you're sure is right but isn't. If there's children that are rebelling as teenagers and you think that's just how they are, no, that's not the expected results. You have fake realities. You know, my brother and sister are totally different, completely different people. But we never, ever, 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 ever rebelled against our parents. We never went through that crazy teenager phase. So it shouldn't be that your parents who have helped you so much and been so pivotal to you, now you rebel against them? No, something here doesn't add up. So any area that you're not getting the expected results in, you have fake realities in. And the main fake reality, or the first fake reality, the first piece of information that isn't true, is what is a child? People think that a child, especially younger, but the child is like another life form. That's what they think. You know, you have birds, reptiles, you have amoebas, you have marsupials. You have different types of life forms, and then you have also adults, and then you have children, like a different life form. They're not human being exactly. They're children. They're different. That's how most people behave towards their children. Like, they're different. They don't have the same rights. They treat them like they don't have the same feelings. There's a whole different treatment towards children. People, you know, if I treated some of your listeners, if I treated some of their kids the way they treat their kids, they would kill me. If I went and I tugged on their kids and tell them, come, we're leaving now, or they would kill me. Or if I went to their kids and snickered and made remarks right in front of their kids about how annoying they were last night in front of them, and I did that, they would kill me. But parents have an exclusive right over doing that to their children. That's what they think. So that is treating them in a way that you wouldn't want to be treated. Treat them like they're different to you. But if you know that they are exactly like you, you look at your children differently. They have the same feelings, the same goals, dreams, purposes, rights, the same heart that can get broken, everything. And so the definition of the word child is a human being with a small body, but a human being nonetheless, that always has good intentions and often bad results. Always with good intentions and sometimes with bad results. So you see the child tries to help mommy to mop and makes a big mess. They're trying to help mop. They don't know yet. So the results are not so good because they're learning, but the intention is amazing. The classic story so I can tell you a great story, but I've talked quite a lot. Maybe I'll pause for a moment to see if you want to interject on anything. But that's the first thing, is the definition of the word child.
Out of curiosity, what point do you remove them from the child parameter then? Is that when they stop having good intentions?
They always, no matter what, forever have good intentions.
Like I said, at what point do you break them out of the child category then? Because at what age?
When so what changes is not the good intention, because man is basically good and it remains like that throughout. When they're no longer a child is when they don't anymore have a small body. That's the difference. When they're 18 or whatever the case may be, that the body maybe changes and they're not a child. Or maybe when they're 16 or whatever, when you see that it's not a child anymore, yes? But the good intention element, that doesn't change. People have good intentions, man is basically good even when they do terrible things. And I'm not saying that people don't do terrible things, but man is basically good. We can start with that. Is the question of, is man basically good?
A man can be good.
True. But basically, on the basic level.
Man can be good. Man has the capacity for both good and evil.
True. So that's true that man can be good and they can do bad things. That's true. The question of, is man basically good, is measured by the fact that when somebody does something which they consider is bad, the first thing that they do is hide it. When people do bad things, you don't go around and put it on Facebook. Listen, I just stole money. You hide it. You know it's bad. When you do something that you don't feel good about, you don't go and tell your friends about it. You hide it because you know it's bad. If you were basically bad, you would promote it because you want to do bad. If you wanted to basically, if your basic intention was to do bad, you would be proud when you've done it. Just like when you do good, most people, when they do good, they want to share it. They like the fact that they've done good, or at least they don't hide it. So the measure of, is man basically good or basically bad, the first indication is, look how they behave when they do bad actions. And people know when they've done bad. Anybody knows. Anybody intrinsically knows when they've done a bad action, that because they feel that it wasn't okay and they don't want to share it. They actually, first thing they do is withhold it. First they justify it and then they withhold it.
Don't know if it's embarrassment as much as fear of repercussion.
For sure, there can be many different reasons as to what they're worried about. And it's not necessarily embarrassment. You're right. It can be fear of repercussion. It can be many different things. But they know it was bad. They regret it. They have some element of, I'm going to get in trouble. I wish I didn't. There'll be something like that happens. And if man was basically evil or basically bad, when they went around and did bad, they would be happy about it. There would be no worries of repercussion. There would be no worries of embarrassment, no worries of, I want to do bad. That's what my intention is. My intention is to do bad. So yeah, I did bad, 100%. But that's not how people behave. When they do bad, they are their own worst judge.
I think I'm going to have to agree to disagree on this one with you.
That's totally fine. It's totally fine. The view that man would be basically evil would basically say that anyone has the intention on a fundamental level to harm others, to do bad. That's what people want. Fundamentally, people want to create bad, want to do bad, want to bring about bad results. Like that's, if we say man is basically evil, then we're saying that that's what everybody on a fundamental level wants to do. The average person wants to do, their dead set background motive is bad. And I'm saying no, most people actually want good. Their basic background motive is not to do bad. They want to do good. They do many crazy things. People do horrible things, bad, terrible results, like beyond bad results. I'm not saying people don't do bad things. But if you check, even the worst of criminals, and I've worked with criminals and rehabilitated them and worked with different people, even them, they are actually just wanting to do good. They're just terribly misguided, terribly misinformed, terribly lost. They wish that they could do good. The fundamental root is, I want good. So when you have a child, and we don't have to take it too far to the extreme of a criminal or of anything like that, but children want to do good. They really, really want to help. They really try to help. And what happens over time is parents actually unintentionally, with the best, most beautiful of intentions, really wanting for the best for the child, but unintentionally end up kind of beating out, not physically, obviously, but just kind of eroding at this intention that children natively have to help. They really, really, really like to help. Like the child will try to wipe like mommy or daddy, or like to clean up, or they'll try to cook, or they'll want to carry things for mom or carry things for they want to help, but they make big mistakes along the way while doing it. They do it badly. They mess up, they break things, they try to help, break the glass, they tip something over. And so the children then, the parents then will say to the child, hey, look, what you're doing is not okay in various ways. Don't do that. Hey, not. And so the child starts to learn, I shouldn't help. And as time goes, by the time that they get to being, a teenager, they start to think, I'm of no use here. I'm no use here. I don't know. How do I belong here? And that's actually one of the causes that they start to rebel. They want to be their own independent. I want to go where I can bring about a result, where I can control things. Whereas I'll tell you, for example, in my family, any help, even bad help at any age of mine or my brother and sister, was celebrated, was expanded upon, was rewarded, was made a really big deal out of. And so we learned, we are valuable. Even when we messed up, we did things that were like really, we would like accidentally break things. Let's say I broke a vase. My mom or my dad would say, did you know that Gal today tried to clean the vase? And it was amazing. He cleaned it and he wanted to help, and then it broke. And we explained to him, we showed him how if he does it, it breaks. But the amazing thing is he wanted to help, and he helped clean it up. And like this, they would tell that to the dinner table. Like if we had guests over, like they would make a big deal out of any time we helped. So we felt, we can help. And of course, it made us want to help more and to improve on how we help and to provide value to the family. Like our parents like it when we help. So we have a place here. It was really that mentality. And that was key. I mean, just from personal experience, that was really key.
I love the idea of celebrating your kids trying to help.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to do everything you can as a parent, especially as a dad, too. There is a lot of self-esteem that comes out of rewarding those actions.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And celebrating those actions. So I love that idea.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be a dad long before you start to realize, like, you know what? Things get broken.
Totally.
Honestly say I feel good about, I've never blessed my kids for accidentally breaking something, because
amazing.
I don't, I hear something break while my daughter's washing a dish, and it's like, are you cut? Did you get cut in this process? That's my only concern at this point. I'll buy a new plate. I don't really care. That doesn't faze me at all.
That's amazing. Oh, sorry, go ahead, please. Yeah.
So much comes out of how you respond to your kids' actions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure. They really, really look at that. And, I have to, give you huge amounts of credit, because the reality is I'm a new dad, and you have 13 years of actually being willing to say, look, I've never actually gotten mad at them. So it's easier said than done, right? I can't say that I have definitively not done it for 13 years like you can. Or even if you did it once a year, once every 6 months, I don't care. It's still amazing, because there's so many opportunities to get upset at that. So you have a huge actual leg up. I'm talking to you. What's interesting is I'm talking from a perspective of, number one, how I was raised, and what I'm intending as a new dad to carry into how I raise further. But I will say it's easier said than done. And so you having that viewpoint and operating like that, all the credit. I mean, really, that's more than I can say.
I don't think it's hard for dads when they get into perspective. And I think that's the hardest part, is getting things into perspective sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. What actually has value in your household? Mm-hmm. We were talking before the show. I have a lot of equipment. I just posted on social media yesterday. A friend of mine was minimalizing. He's a big computer guy. That's what he does for a living, right? It's a big IT engineer for Microsoft, and he decided to minimize home a little bit. So I have a brand new desk. Well, it's brand new to me. It's a hand-me-down, right? Yeah. It's a desk that I would not spend the money on. It's, it's one of those nice, like you can push a button and it has memory settings and go.
Oh, amazing.
Right? Yeah. It's like that's awesome. $800,000, $800 or $1,000 desk or something. I would never. It's like, nope. I have lots of equipment in my studio. If the house burned tomorrow, as long as my family is okay, I'm fine. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the simple solution for me. And so if everything else is that way, right? If you can wrap your head around that idea, that this is what is permanent. This is what matters.
That's so true. Yeah. And I'll bounce off one other thing from that, which is, again, how I was raised, which I really found to be effective. We touched upon the fact that the child's self-determinism, how they govern themselves, is paramount. And one of the things in terms of possessions, so for my parents, what they did is anything that was ours was ours. Now it's okay, of course, anything that's yours is yours. But I'll tell you what was different. If they gave me a toy and I wanted to break it, the second I got it, break it. If it's your toy, it's yours. What's yours is yours. Whereas, and again, sometimes they would. I would see other parents that wouldn't be like that. Hey, no, don't don't hit your toy. That they get involved in how the child handles their own things. No, don't you clean that now. Don't do that now. Don't take it. Don't break it. Don't use it for that. Don't put it in the water. I never had that. It was, if it's yours, it's yours. It doesn't mean that my parents wouldn't explain to me before I accidentally put an electronic, battery powered little toy in the water. They may be, whoa, God, hold on. I just want to explain to you that if you put this in the water, it's going to stop working. So maybe they'd explain. I'm not saying they would just let me do, they'd guide, but it was never, don't do that. It was, but by the way, if you want to put the toy in the water, go for it. It just won't work, just so you know. And I was like, okay. And then I decide if I want to put it in the water, if I don't. And then, so it was really this thing of, if it's yours, it's yours. Do whatever you want with it. You want to throw it away? Throw it away. You want to break it, break it. You want to paint it, whatever. It's yours. And the other thing is, your room is your room. What happens in your room, you can do things in your room. The rest of the house is ours. What happens here, it's under our control. But in your room, it's your toys, your things. Go for it. So there was this real understanding early on of, oh, wow, I have certain things that are mine, certain things that aren't. And I have the control over those things that are mine. And if I do certain things with them, I have consequences. I break it, it's broken. That's it. And that was another interesting thing, very similar to what you're saying. Like, what really has value in terms of the possessions? Like, what's for that, Same thing, though, with those individual things that my parents would give me. Go for it. Do what you want with it. It was that sort of perspective, which was also, I'm sure, tough for them to do. I can already feel as a dad, it's tough to do. You want to but it was really something that to this day I'm impacted by.
I was to say, can you feel the tension building in the back of my neck as you're talking?
Yeah. I didn't notice you hit it well, but I understand, because look, I've talked to many people about relationships, parenting, different things, and it's I know that the reactions on the subject, I get it. I know it's different. I was raised. It was different, and it wasn't like gentle parenting, which has good and bad connotation. Like, none of that. It was, what's yours is yours. Like, you'll meet my dad. He's no pushover. He's like, there's no, but he allowed me to become me without controlling it. And it was a really interesting and delicate balance at how they did it, which I can only hope to take half of that and implement it as a dad.
I think that there's an interesting line, because I can hear, other dads like myself going, like, just, and I don't completely reject the idea. I think there's an interesting balance somewhere in there of, right, at the same time you're wanting your child to grow into who they're going to become, but you're also teaching them about respecting themselves respecting what's theirs, respecting what's shared property, taking care of things that are theirs, right? You want them to learn to care for things that they invest themselves in, or that they put some kind of investment in, so that they don't do something stupid. It's like and I hate to just say rich kid, but I don't know a lot, a better example, the rich kid who wraps a brand new Porsche around a tree and is like, whatever, that will buy me another one, right?
Yeah.
There's no value in that very nice vehicle because they didn't ever work for it. They weren't expected to take care of it. Dad always replace it. I knew a dad that one of the places that him and I would differ on was his kids would break something and he'd just go replace it. And he'd just go, and like they could break it 4 times. He could just go buy them a new one. And I was like, at what point are you reinforcing bad decisions here? Right.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. 100%. That's definitely not the way either, because, okay, so what's mine isn't mine. It's yours to replace. Very different. It's not that. First of all, shared property is shared property. That's 100%. What gets given to the kid should be explained, should be guided upon, for sure. Like, it's not just, hey, take it and you don't know how to use this toy or whatever, and look at the mess you like. No. Obviously, there's guidance and there's obviously the natural thing from the child of, hey, mom, hey, dad, how do I do this? Or should I do this? Or I'm looking at them for, how kids will look up at you to check if it's okay. A lot of that, right? But that was happening while knowing, hey, it's still mine. Whereas the alternative is nothing's ever mine. It's only my parents. And so eventually, the second I can, I'm going to revolt. I want things that are mine. And that doesn't manifest until teenagerhood, when that's one of the main reasons that kids revolt, because they've never been able to have something that's theirs. I want it my way. I want to run my life. It's me. It's my room. I'm slamming the door. Because it's just a revolt against, I want to finally have my own self-determinism. We never had that because we had our self-determinism. Who do I have to revolt against? So there's nothing to revolt against. My parents are my teammates. They let me have my things. They guide me. What is there to revolt against? And so, yeah, it doesn't mean let them go and do the most stupid things, because, of course, kids can do that. But it's that understanding of, hey, I want you to know that this thing is yours. I want to guide you. I want to tell you what happens if you break it. I want to explain to you how this thing, like, what can happen here. It's definitely not go take the Porsche and wrap it around the tree and I'll get a new Porsche. No, because that also destroys the kids. One of the worst things is children that are born into rich families, because actually those families are very controlling. Even though you see that they replace things, they're missing a lot of fundamentals. And I can say that because I know many rich children, and I was born into a very successful and rich family, but we never went through this thing of, I'm super entitled and my dad will give me the new thing. No, none of that. No way. Ultimate respect for our things, like any normal kid. But how that was done, and that's probably something you could bring up to when you interview my dad, is, so how do you raise kids under circumstances where there is money? How do you make sure that they don't become a spoiled brat, like I saw so many of people that I know become? And how do you still ensure that they have value for things while letting them know that it's theirs? Because that is delicate. But when you know how to do that, it's a real parenting game changer. At least it was for me as a child. It meant the world to me on how that was handled.
Love it.
Yeah.
Gal, if people are interested in following up with you and figuring out more, interested in y'all's program, the family, say it again, what's the family?
Yeah, the Family Academy.
Family Academy.
Yeah.
Where is the best place for people to find you guys?
So first of all, you can follow me on any social media platform. It's Gal, G-A-L-A, Ezra, E-Z-R-A, Gal A. Ezra. We also have a whole, we do business training, business coaching, relationships, personal development, and a lot of different offerings. You can follow us on G Prosperity Now. G stands for guaranteed. So G Prosperity Now or gprosperity.com. And what I'll do is the code that your listeners can use is FAM, F-A-M, short for family, FAM, the number 5, FAM 5. I'll send you the link when we're done. They just go to that link. They put in FAM 5, this $349 program. They get it for free. And it will be some of the most different, but powerful, intriguing, unusual teachings that work. And I think that anybody that listens to it will kind of like this interview might agree, might disagree, but what's for sure is it'll be different to what everybody says. And I think that they'll get a lot of value out of it. So that'll be my gift to all your listeners.
I am very interested, just because of what I looked it up at some point. There's like thousands of books written on parenting every year, and none of them are right. None of them are necessarily wrong. None of them are perfect, because every child is so very different and unique. And so, a great idea is a great idea. Bad ideas are bad ideas, but you find what works, right? So my kids are now old enough that both of them are going to youth group at church now. And my oldest child has been in for a couple of years. And the guy who runs the youth group was talking to my mom and was like, the differences between the two girls, because the youngest one just started going. She's like, the differences in personality between the two girls she was like, yeah, they are very uniquely them. What works with one does not work with the other. And so with parenting, you find it's like, okay, what are some universal truths? What really applies more to this kid and applies more to this kid? What's going to work in communicating with them well and expressing love with them? And
exactly. And I'm sure that's that balance. And I'll say one thing that you hit the nail on the head as a final kind of word here is you're saying, what are the universal truths? And really it comes down to everything that we teach is based off of certain principles. And if we teach something that doesn't apply to every element of life, so if I teach you a parenting principle and that same principle doesn't apply to business, sales, marketing, scaling, doesn't apply to spirituality, doesn't apply to every part of life, you need to know that it either is a lie or part of it is a lie. It's not true. Every principle will apply. And yes, different kids, the data will be different. What you see, data changes, principles don't. So you'll see that in the first 5 lessons, you'll get principles there that apply to anything. Take that Family Academy, those first 5 lessons, and listen to it as if, forget the viewpoint of a family. Listen to it from the viewpoint of business. You'll see it applies the same. And that's what's really interesting. We go over the principles and those universal truths because every kid is different. Every situation is different. But we don't look at the what's in the front right now. We look at the principles. So I think that that's what you'll spot if you listen to that.
Guys, some of what's been said today may seem rough around the edges to you. You know what? He's offering you more access. So go check it out for yourself. Don't dismiss anything outright. I didn't agree with everything you said. It doesn't mean I'm right. I'm very interested because I'm always looking as a father to do better. My journey will stop when I die as a father. That's the only thing that stops it. And so I'm always looking for things that challenge my beliefs, my thoughts, things that push me to be a better dad and to explore things I haven't explored before, because I'm not perfect, right? I got a ways to go. I know that, and I'm open to that. And so hopefully you heard something great. I heard some great stuff talking to Gal today. And you know what? I've been challenged as a father, and now I want to know more. And I hope you do too. Go find out. Because if nothing else you can take from this conversation, Gal's dad did something right, because here he is championing. I can't even say that real. Well,
yeah, it's a tough one. Championing. Yeah.
The way his father raised him and the closeness in their family. And that is something to be had these days, guys. That is something worth fighting for and looking into at least. So be sure, check that out. We'll have all of Gal's links down in the show notes, everywhere you can find him, as well as the link to the program. Gal, thanks for hanging out with us today. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you so much. I can say without a doubt that you're an amazing dad. What other dad runs a dad podcast, always wants to learn, always wants to improve, is open to viewpoints, is willing to say, I agree or I don't agree? That's commendable beyond measure. So I can say without a doubt, you're an amazing dad. That's really amazing. So thank you for having me on.
Guys, thanks for joining us today on the Dad Hash Shenanigans podcast. Just a community of dads navigating life's challenges together, because there's a lot of them and we need each other. Until next time, laugh, learn, and live the dad life.